The next type of connective tissue is adipose tissue. So this is your body fat, and it has a large cellular component. So it's got these really large adipose cells where we store fat. There's not a lot of fibers or background matrix in the adipose tissue. And the cells look kind of empty in a microscope because when you prepare this tissue for a microscope slide, the actual adipose tissue, like the actual fat cells, get removed. So adipose is found throughout your body. You can find it underneath the skin, in the breasts, and also around your organs, so things like around the heart and other organs like the kidneys, eyes. It's typically for energy storage, so we store fat for energy for later. When we eat excess foods, we store excess energy. Our fat can help insulate us, so people who have more body fat tend to have more thermal insulation. They don't feel as cold. And there's a special type of fat called brown fat that's found mostly in children that helps to produce heat, especially for small children who have small body sizes. It can provide a protective cushion, so around the heart to help protect and cushion the organ, and then kind of fill in the space to give us body shape. So when women go through puberty, fat is deposited in the breast and the hips to provide kind of the womanly secondary sex characteristic. Another type of connective tissue is called cartilage, and we have 3 different types of cartilage. Cartilage is in general really stiff. It's slightly flexible, so it can be rubbery depending on which cartilage we're talking about. The cartilage cells are called chondroblasts, so this is a type of cell that you need to know. Chondro means cartilage, and then blast is to make. So what happens is we've got this large background matrix. So most of this area is the cartilage matrix. And then inside of this matrix are little lakes, so little open spaces in the matrix. And these are called lacunae. And lacunae literally means little lake. And so these are small cavities. And inside these cavities are the chondrocytes. You can see the little nucleus here. So here's my chondrocyte inside of the lacunae. So the actual chondrocytes actually get trapped in these little lakes inside of the rubbery matrix of the cartilage. The first type of cartilage is called hyaline cartilage. Hyaline cartilage is found on the articular surfaces of bones, found in the supportive rings. So if you touch your throat, your trachea, the supportive rings of the trachea are hyaline cartilage. The larynx, so your voice box, and most of the fetal skeleton and at the end of children's bones is hyaline cartilage. So it's help in functioning and opening the airways. So the cartilage in your trachea holds your airways open. The cartilage on the ends of your bones helps your joints move. And then you use these cartilage precursors as bones in fetus and children before they ossify and become hard bones in adults. So some characteristics: the cartilage, hyaline cartilage, doesn't really have any fibers in it. So again, we've got kind of this glassy looking surface. And then we tend to find little cell nests. So this is a little cell nest of like 3 to 4 cells. So here's a little nest, here's a little nest, here's a little nest. And so you can see clusters of anywhere from 2 to maybe 4. So here's another 3 right there. Cells that kind of cluster together in these kind of random distribution. The second type of cartilage is called elastic cartilage, and this is going to provide elastic support. So this is the type of cartilage that's found in your external ear and the epiglottis that tells food to go down your esophagus instead of into your trachea. And we've got these big chondrocytes, and they have this kind of glassy matrix. But you can see some dark lines in here too. And these are the elastic fibers. So it's going to have some elastic fibers in here, unlike the hyaline that didn't really have any fibers. So you can see these fibers in here as well, these kind of dark lines. And there's no cell nests, so most of the cells are a single cell, maybe 2 cells put together, but we don't tend to see like large cell nests like we did in the hyaline cartilage. And then the third type of cartilage is called fibrocartilage, and these are going to have a lot of fibers because it is fibrocartilage, and it is typically collagen fibers that we're going to see. So instead of like a nice glassy background, we actually see these fiber bundles, and these are going to help kind of resist compression. So you find fibrocartilage in between the vertebrae in your backbone and in the pubic symphysis between the 2 hip bones at the front of the hips. And the characteristic shape of these is that we've got these kind of long lines of cells in a row. So when you see long lines of cells in a row, that's a good indication that you've got fibrocartilage, because those collagen fibers are kind of lining them up in a line just like that. The next type of connective tissue is bone. And bone is found in your skeleton, so all of your skeletal components as an adult, and it provides physical support. So your skeleton gives you your shape. Could you imagine a human without a skeleton? We would be kind of like a blob. They also provide a lever for the muscles to act on. So our muscles can attach to the skeleton with tendons and allow us to pull on the bones. Bones provide protection, so think about your skull surrounding your brain, or your ribs surrounding your heart and lungs. And then they're also a reservoir for nutrients. So our bones are made up of calcium and phosphorus. And so if our blood levels of calcium are really low, we can actually take calcium from our bones and put it into our blood, which may not be the best thing for the bones, but it will help us maintain our blood levels of calcium and phosphorus. One of our last types of connective tissue is the blood, and this is a liquid. All right, so the background matrix of the blood is a liquid, and this is what we call the blood plasma. And then our cellular elements are the red blood cells, the white blood cells, and the platelets. And we don't really have any fibers in the blood that would just cause blood clots. That would be a bad thing. So blood is found in the heart, arteries, and veins, and it's going to mostly be involved in transport. So gases like oxygen, carbon dioxide, nutrients from our food, helping us get rid of wastes in the kidney and liver, sending chemical signals like hormones from our brain to all of the other parts of our body, and then transporting heat. So one of the things that happens when we're really warm is you get red, and that's because the blood vessels near your skin dilate to help get rid of the heat. It's also important for defense. We have our white blood cells, the leukocytes. Leuko means like empty, blank, white. The platelets are going to be involved in clotting to help stop bleeding, as well as promote tissue maintenance and repair. So choose any 5 connective tissues. It can be from this video or the previous video. Describe their functions and locations throughout the human body.